Right, here's a question where we're asked to solve for x. It's a quadratic equation, so the first thing I try and do is to factor it. 2 times minus 7 is minus 14. Things that multiply to minus 14 and add to a minus 3, yeah, not happening. Darn. So, no factoring. So if I can't factor it, then I would use the quadratic formula. You could try and solve by completing the square. That works too. But this typically is a bit more straightforward. The only issue with using the quadratic formula that I've seen, and you have to practice so you're good at it, is messing up negative signs. If you mess up negative signs, bad things will happen. So the way I do it to try and alleviate that is what I do is I just put a bracket wherever I see a letter. So minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Now I need to identify my a, b's, and c's. Notice that I have the equation here in this form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So whatever's in front of the x squared is my a, whatever in front of the x is my b, the constant term with no x's is my c. Make sure that the sign that goes in front of that letter always goes with it. So in this case, and if it helps you, write out up above. So a is 2, b is a negative 3, and c is a negative 7. I purposely put lots of negatives in. Okay, so let's plug things in. I'll use a different color. So b is supposed to go in here. B is a negative 3. So I put a negative 3 right there. See that there's two negative signs? See what's going to happen there? If you don't put the brackets in, often you forget that. Okay, I need to put a b in the next spot, and that was a negative 3. And then a, that's a 2. C is a negative 7. And down at the bottom, an a is a 2. Okay, now to simplify things, first thing right here, there's two negatives, so those will cancel. So this will be a positive 3. Plus or minus the square root of. Now if you want, you can just put this whole thing in your calculator. And make sure you include the brackets, so bracket negative 3, bracket squared minus 4, bracket 2, bracket negative 7, bracket, and say go. Let me just think what that would be here. 856, 9, I'm thinking 65 or something. Anyway, I'll work it out down here too, but you can just put that whole thing in your calculator and then put it underneath there. So negative 3 squared, if you do this on your calculator, negative 3 squared, it'll come out to a positive 9. On many calculators, if you just go minus 3 squared like that, all it does is square the 3, and it doesn't square the negative. And so it gives you a negative 9. But that's not what we have here. I'm taking the whole thing and squaring it, so you have to square the negative and the 3. So this will turn out to be a positive 9. And then minus 4 times 2 is a minus 8, and a minus 8 times minus 7 is a positive. 8 times 7 is 56. All over, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, just simplifying a little bit more. So I'll have x is equal to 3 plus or minus 9 plus 56 is 65, right? All over 4. And I'd probably leave it there. You could take 65 and maybe try and break it down. I think that's 13 times 5. But I don't think you're going to be able to simplify the square root of 65 anymore. And so this is where my answer would be. This isn't an exact answer. If you were to take and put it in your calculator and go like I'll do here, 3 plus, let me put a bracket, 3 plus the square root of 45, bracket divided by 4. And what you get on in your calculator there, let me figure it out quick, 6, 9, and maybe 2.4 or something like that. 2 point something or other. Whatever you get on your calculator, this would be an approximate answer. Okay, so you should be able to give an exact answer or an approximate answer. Hopefully that helps you sort of clear up what you need to do underneath the square root of the quadratic formula.